Hey, Mike with Nerd Problems Gaming here, and today's video will be doing a review on the game Scar-Led Salvation, so let's get into it. Now this is a roguelike third-person shooter action game that takes place in a futuristic world where you'll play as a young woman with amnesia who awakens in an AI-controlled military facility, and you'll go on a quest to recover her memories and break her way out. And so you'll be equipped with some futuristic armor and guns, and you'll need to take on floor after floor filled with robotic enemies, all trying to kill her as you try and escape. And throughout each run, you'll acquire resources to power up your weapons after each level, and you'll also find various equipment you can use to power up your abilities, things like HP boosts, defense boost, improving your ranged or melee attacks, and much more. And so when you start the game off, you'll only have one piece of equipment that you can equip for a power-up, but over time, you'll eventually unlock more after defeating bosses. And with that, these power-ups can actually be leveled up as you find more and more throughout each run. And so you can stack them on top of each other, making them more powerful and giving them higher boost abilities. And so you'll start off with level 1, and you'll be able to continue to level them up to a certain point the more of these items you collect that are duplicates of each other. Now you can also swap out these to fit your playstyle, but again, you're really limited to very few of them that you can have equipped at a time. So you'll need to strategically choose them best for whatever type of build you're going for. Now you also have two different weapons that you can equip at the same time, and you can swap between these whenever you want. But when you die, you'll actually be left with your non-equipped weapon for the next run. So I often found that when I was on the verge of death, I would choose my weaker weapon in hopes of keeping the better one on a future run. Now again, at the end of each floor, you'll also face off against a massive boss, and these are much more challenging fights and have a bit more unique mechanics to them. And if you manage to defeat them, you'll unlock a new equipment slot, allowing you to add more powers to your character's abilities. And I will say the gameplay loop is really fun, but at the same time, it also gets incredibly repetitive, and you'll be fighting your way through room after room in this massive facility, but really every room and almost every set of enemies really looks and behaves nearly identical. And so it starts off really fun and fresh, but again, as you progress through the same room and the same feel almost again and again and again, it starts to get a little bit boring and repetitive. I even found myself skipping room after room after room after playing for a few hours, as I didn't really feel the need to actually defeat every single enemy, and it often wasn't required to, and so you could just directly bypass a room entirely if you felt like you wanted to. Certainly that had a little bit of risk to it, because you wouldn't be gaining resources that you could eventually use to power up your weapons, but after a while, these floors were incredibly huge and took so long to get through, it felt almost worth it to just skip these rooms to escape a little bit of boredom. And so I did feel that there was quite a bit of padding almost to it, where there was a lot of rooms all being similar and floors were very expansive. And so it definitely took a while to either make it to a boss fight or even make it to the end of the floor where you could invest your resources to power up your character. And because of that, it really felt like it dragged on at several different times throughout the game. Now, each level is procedurally generated, but unfortunately, the overall graphic style is very similar of every single room throughout the game. And it almost felt like you were playing through the same room, just on repeat with a little bit of things shuffled around. And I know this can certainly work in like 2D games or more pixel art style games, but usually there's only a handful of rooms until you make it to the next floor. But this really felt like there was dozens of rooms, and especially if you're taking the time to clear out every enemy, you'll be spending a lot of time in the same area. And I figured it would maybe change once you got to a different area of the game or beat an initial boss, and it did somewhat, but it really just took the same skin and added a little bit of flair to it. So for example, there's an ice floor where all the rooms are covered in a slight layer of ice. And then there was a fire stage that was really, again, the same exact rooms, just with a little bit of red tint to it and some flames going on. So not really that much different. and a lot of the enemies felt very similar as well. And so it wasn't terrible, but again, I really wish there was a lot more variety to these rooms and environments that you would be exploring, especially because there were so many different rooms throughout each run. I did like the power-up features and the progress that you could make with your character, but it just felt limited as well. For example, you start with that one ability that you can equip, or various power-ups. You only have one slot available to start the game, and it's not until you beat the first boss that you actually get the option to equip two of them. But I think that was a few hours into the game before I even made it to that boss, so you're just sitting around with one ability, which wasn't that exciting. And again, these floors were very huge with a lot of rooms, so the progression just felt limited. And so I really wish that these just happened faster, or there was more opportunities to progress and power up your character than there actually was in the game. Overall, I like the concept of the gameplay loop, but it just felt too repetitive and there wasn't enough progression quickly enough to keep me hooked and engaged within the game. I think the game had a good framework, but it just ended up feeling okay versus great, and it really left me wanting more. And I found after a few hours, I started to get bored with it, and I was just kind of forcing myself to continue to progress through the game to see if it got better, and it never really felt like it did. And so I think it's fun for a bit. I don't really think that this game is worth it at full price, but if you like third-person shooters, you like roguelike elements, and you don't mind a grindy nature like this game has, I think it can get a few hours of enjoyment, or would be worth picking up if you can find it on sale or on a discount, but I don't think it's really worth it if you're paying full price and expecting a full price AAA experience. But again, that wraps up our review of Scar-Led Salvation. Let me know in the comments below, have you played this one yet? Did you find a similar experience to what I have? Let me know your thoughts in your comments below.
And another really cool way you can help support the channel is we actually partnered with a game store, Nutmeg Games. So if you like board games, Pokemon cards, Magic cards, and more, be sure to head to nutmeggames.com/nerdproblemsgaming and use our promo code nerdproblemsgaming at checkout. You'll get 10% off your order and help support the channel at the same time. So if you want to take advantage of those great deals, be sure to head there as well.
And if you like this video, be sure to hit that like button as it really helps out the channel. And if you like videos like this on video games, board games, and everything nerdy, check out one of our other videos here. And if you haven't done so yet, be sure to subscribe and turn on the bell notifications to get the latest updates of new nerd videos we put out. But once again, thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you more soon.